Okay, good morning, Mr. Abu. Today I'm Shanes Wong as one of your closest friends. I'm going to give you some advice regarding your misconduct from four different perspectives. Okay, so the first one is from the legal perspective. Okay, so Mr. Abu, you are one of the government servant, and I'm sure that you already know uh, if you are found related to any misconduct like corruption, bribery, you will either get fined, jail, or even both. So here's my advice for you. Since since you are already in a rabbit hole, you have already done all this kind of corruption. So my advice is you better stop all this kind of misconduct right now and be honest with the authority. Because if you are lucky, if you are honest with the authority, maybe they will give you a more lighter sentence. If you propose right now, if you're honest with the government, maybe you only get fined, you won't get jail. And even if you get jail, only like a short period of time, maybe a few months only. But if you still continue to hide your all the evidence about corruption, and you still continue the corruption with your client, I'm sure you won't get away with a very heavy penalty. I'm sure you won't get away. So this is from the legal perspective. And then from the second perspective is from the social perspective. Okay, so Mr. Abu, you are one of the government's how to say the tender committee of for the government, and I'm sure that in fact this is a very highly respectable position. But what do you think people will think, the outside people will think about this job? The first thing that pop up in their head is, oh, you are a government tender committee. I'm sure that you are a very, very corrupted person. Why? Why people think like this? Because most of the tender committee like you, they receive bribery from client. And what happens next is all the incompetent client, they supply all the low quality product, low quality work, and then they affect the quality of life for the community. So they don't like it. So this is how to say your misconduct will affect the reputation of you yourself, and of course the government itself. So this is one of the this is not a very good impact that you want. And I'm sure you yourself, you already work yourself up from the bottom until this level, until become a government tender community, and I'm sure that you want people to respect you as well. So my advice again, please stop your misconduct, and be honest with the authority. And then from a third perspective is from the economy perspective. Okay, so uh, Mr. Abu, I will take your case as an example. One of your tender is uh, you ask the supplier to provide some garbage truck for the government. But the problem is, due to your corruption, you already gave this tender to one of your incompetent client to supply the garbage truck, and all the garbage truck that they provided are very, how to say, a very low quality. They're different model, at the same time they are lower quality. So what do you think will happen to your life if all the garbage truck in the government in the Malaysia are all low quality? They get broke down easily, and then no one can manage your garbage in your neighborhood. And then of course it will cause some hygienic problem in your area. And I'm sure you don't want that. You say that you live in a Bukit Damansara uptown, and I'm sure you want a very clean, a very comfortable community, and I'm sure you don't want these kind of things to happen in your area. Maybe you don't feel the consequence right now, but in the long term you will feel, because you are not the only corrupted officer out there. There are a lot more. So this is only one of the example. It will affect the quality of life, whether it's you, anyone in the country, because you are the one responsible for the development of the country. So uh, this is only one of the example. There are a lot more. Maybe it will cause some inflation. Maybe it will cause some how to say, some unemployment. It will cause some job loss. So these are the example. It will indirectly and maybe directly affect all this kind of quality of life. And then the last one is from the legal, I mean not legal, from the religion perspective. Okay, so I'm not a Muslim, so I don't I'm not sure about what the other religions teach teach all of you, what they taught us. But there's one thing that I'm sure is there's no religion in the world teach us to be a bad person, and I'm sure corruption and bribery is not a good act. So this is my advice. If you are feeling, feeling dilemma about your situation right now, whether you still want to continue your corruption, or if you want to be honest with your government, be honest with yourself. I'm be honest lah, Mr. Abu, be honest with yourself. If you want to continue your misconduct, yes, you can go ahead, but don't blame anyone when the government find you and a give you an imprisonment like 5 years and you don't cry. You better don't cry. So be honest with yourself. If you want to feel good about yourself, if you still want to be a very respectable person, you should be honest with the government. I know you don't like the consequence, but you have already done it. All the corruption, all the bribery, you have already received and done it. So this is my advice. It's better for you to be honest with the authority. So I think that's all from me, Mr. Abu. So if you really think that you can try, you should be honest with yourself. This is my final advice. You should be honest with yourself.